Hi friends, Sairam app. இது ஒரு green social media. இது Facebook மாதிரி ஒரு social media platform. இதுல pictures, videos and voice chat roomலாம் இருக்கு. இதுல account open பண்ணி verify வாங்குற ஒவ்வொரு users பேர்லயும் ஒரு மரக்கன்று நடப்படும். இத sign up பண்ணி account open பண்ணும்போது verification email வரும். அத verification பண்ணா மட்டும் தான் account open ஆகும். நீங்க என்ன user name கொடுக்குறீங்களோ அதை கொடுத்து தான் login பண்ணணும். email address போடக்கூடாது. account open பண்ணி cover photo, profile picture எல்லாம் வச்சு ரெகுலரா ஆக்டிவேட்டா இருந்தா மட்டும் தான் அது verified accountல எடுத்துக்கொள்ளப்படும். அதர் ஆப்ஸ்ல அப்லோட் பண்ணாத வாட்டர்மார்க் இல்லாத ஓன் கண்டென்ட் வீடியோ போட்டு வெரிஃபை வாங்குற யூசர்ஸ்க்கு கிஃப்ட் உண்டு. அது என்ன கிஃப்ட் அப்படிங்கறத அந்த ஆப்ல மெசேஜ் வரும். Sairam app link டிஸ்கிரிப்ஷன்ல இருக்கு, டவுன்லோட் பண்ணிக்கங்க. Sairam app iOS and Google Play Storeலயும் இருக்கு, டவுன்லோட் பண்ணிக்கங்க.
To attain Jnanam, one must have dedication and commitment. You should have firm dedication that I am ready to lose anything, but I'm not ready to lose God. Only if you come to this state, then you will be able to reach God. By focusing on other things and pushing the God to the backyard will not help you to reach God. You must have a dedication that I will complete it in this birth itself. You should not become complacent that I had got a guru and got an instruction and Jnanam will come to me. You will be cheated out of this. Sometimes to attain the Jnanam, people used to leave their wife and children and go to forest. Those people also may not attain because Jnanam must be attained in the same place where you are leading your life. By running away from your current duties and family will not get you even if you go to Himalayas because your thoughts and feelings will be focused only on your family and not on God. Hence my advice is to continue your family life. Do your duties for your family and children. At the same time, try to practice your instructions from a God-realized guru to attain God. If you try this in this way, then definitely the path will be smoother for you to attain God. Disciple. What are Tavam? Process of God realization, and Avam? Improper process. Guru. Tavam, process of God realization, is sitting at a place and focusing on only one thing towards God realization as per the instructions of a God-realized guru, and continue to be with the thought without any wavering of mind. It is an achievement. Everyone cannot do this. One has to refine and calm their mind before embarking on it. One has to think for themselves rather than listening to somebody else and following. If one is following someone, it is compulsion. Everyone must feel this inside themselves. It is possible only if one goes in the right path. It must be performed under the guidance of a God-realized guru. The ultimate goal is to realize God. Avam, improper process, is starting without the guidance of either God-realized guru or someone acting like a guru. They perform this to attain the boons or the power of Attama Siddhi, 8 types of paranormal powers. The ultimate goal is not God realization. Siddhis, the 8 paranormal abilities, are beyond normal human beings. This will lead to further birth and death cycle or even lower births based on the usage of the power attained. Disciple. What are Pati, Pasu and Pasam? Guru. Pati, literal meaning in Tamil, is the chief or the owner. Represents God who resides in between our eyebrows as effulgent divine light. Pasu, literal meaning in Tamil, is cow or any animal. Represents our Atma. Pasam, literal meaning in Tamil, is affection. Means our mind. Mind is the source for affection in human beings. Body is the source for the mind. These are the Pati, Pasu and Pasam. All these 3 are eternal. These are called the Trinity or the 3 important objects or Muppurul in the path of God realization. The purpose of every Atma is to attain God realization. However, it is prevented by our affection, also called obstacles. There are 3 main obstacles, Mummalangal. These are namely ego, Anavam, effect of deeds also called as Karmam or Kanmam, and illusion, Maya. The analogies used to illustrate these 3 are, ego is similar to brawn, that is, powder of the husk of paddy. Effects of deeds is similar to sprout of the grain. Illusion is similar to husk covering the grain of paddy. If you break the sprout, then the seed will never germinate. Hence, to avoid birth and death cycle, one must clear all of the effects of both good and bad deeds or karma. Disciple, please explain about Jnanam in Bhakti and Jnanam in Yoga. Guru, புத்தகங்களைச் சுமந்து பொய்களை பிதற்றுவீர், carrying a load of books and blabbering lies. செத்திடம் பிறந்திடம் அது எங்கனம் என்று அறிகிலீர், may not know the place of birth and death. அத்தனைய சிந்தனை அறிந்து நோக்க வல்லீரேல். If you are capable of knowing and looking at it, உத்தமத்துள் ஆய சோதி உணரும் போகமாகுமே. It is the state of feeling of the bliss of the effulgent divine light. Unarum bogam. It is the blissful state reached when the light of life from Mooladharam, from the bottom, merges with the light of Atma at the Sahasraram, at the top of the head. When these two lights merge, then you will see God. You don't need to search for God anywhere else. People engaged in devotional worship can look for God wherever they like it. If you are engaged in yogic practice of Raja Yogam, then this type of worship is not necessary. One should endeavor to learn the instructions from a God-realized Guru. After this, one must practice these instructions regularly without a break. Then only you will reach that state. Reading scriptures, various literatures, and singing devotional hymns during prayers is required for the people following the path of bhakti. It will not be useful for the people engaged in practice of Raja Yogam for realizing God. You should not search for God in the outside world. You must search within yourself. People living in Ajnanam or ignorance may look for God outside. This point is emphasized by Pattinathar on his pilgrimage to Kalahasti. Pattinathar was giving a discourse about his disciple Bhadragiri before he became my disciple. After he became my disciple, he realized God before me at the Thiruvidai Marudur temple. Every one of you cannot come to path of Jnanam. If everyone were onto the path of God realization, then human population will come to a halt with no more births happening. Therefore, my advice is, everyone must follow the path of bhakti with clean and mellowed mind. Don't engage yourself in fake and untruthful worship. Don't pray for material things from God. Just stand before God and just watch your breath. God is the creator of all of us and knows what to give to each one of us. When a child is crying, the mother knows the reason. She knows what to give and at what time. God is like our mother and God knows what to give. Please don't stand before God and start doing business with Him. One must do prayers and worship with a clean mind. It is not only for you, it is the same for God also. God does not have a partiality and does not differentiate between you and others. Even for a thief, God is the same. Only his mind is a thief, whereas his Atma is not a thief. There is no good Atma and bad Atma. Good and bad is only for human beings. Atma is the secret of God's creation. Whatever God has created, they are all good only. Good and bad will not touch God. The sun is not shining differently for good people and bad people. It shines equally. Similarly, the wind blows equally to everyone. In the same way, God does not have good things and bad things. All his creations are good only. Mind is the one which is bad, which was created by our desire. Mind became bad due to the effect of the desire. Remove the desire from the mind, then your mind will become clean and refined. Everyone must try to reduce the desires. The method of reducing desire is to keep your breath within yourself. If your breath moves 12 inches away from you, then your desire will increase. Your breathing is the foundation for your desire. Both good and bad is happening to you due to your breath only. This is emphasized by the following couplet composed by ancient Siddhar Edaikadar. Iravanayam maadugalai yegavidukone. Allow the twin bulls of the effects of your good and bad deeds to run. Un adangumana maadundrai adakkividukone. Bring the bull of your mind under control. The two activities mentioned in the above stanza are good and bad activities. These good and bad activities are created by our breathing only. If you run your breathing in a proper manner, your uncontrolled mind will calm down. One should select a God-realized Raja Yoga Guru to learn how to run your breathing properly. If you try to run it yourself, it will develop complications and may damage your ear and eyes. You may develop headache also. If you're not running your breathing properly, then all these things will happen. This is the reason in those days, people were advised to not do yogam by reading a book. Mind becomes rotten by its nature of accumulating unlimited desires. Lust is generated by our desires. Enmity is created by unfulfilled lust. Like this, our mind has started accumulating these kinds of unwanted characteristics generally present in every human being. Because of these undesirable characteristics, human beings engage themselves in activities which are detrimental to everyone. By cleansing our mind of these unwanted characteristics one by one, we will become the original human being who came into this world without any blemishes. You will become calm and quiet and embark on the path of God realization. God is the prime object of our life. Our purpose in life is to merge and become one with God. That is the reason sages and saints had written down the above points for human beings to follow and become God-realized ones. Everyone must practice the advice of the sages. Otherwise, there will not be any use even after reading and listening. Life is for living. You've already married and learned Raja Yogam from the God-realized Guru. Now if you say that I want to leave my job, I don't want my wife, and I don't want to have children, I'm calling these types of people as idiots and fools. I have all these things, but I could not practice detachment. For these types of people, I want to tell you that there is an insect born and living in the mud. However, when it comes out of the mud, it will come out cleanly and will appear as though it had taken a bath. Almost all the leaves in this world will get soaked in water, except the lotus leaf, even though it is growing in the water. Look at the fruit of the tamarind tree. It starts as a blossom, becomes tender, and grows into immature fruit, finally ripe fruit. Once it becomes fully ripened, the seed inside the fruit will be detached from the fruit. This fruit is inside the shell, but is detached from the shell. Similar to this, your mind has to be matured enough to detach yourself from all the bondages of the family while living within the family. Simply, you have to be a figurative person within the family without attachment to anyone and performing all the duties expected from you for the welfare of the family. I'm telling you that everyone knows it and need not tell anyone. Everybody understands it. I'm just reminding them. I'm not telling the information which is not known. From time immemorial, the Siddhas, sages and saints had poured millions of useful information for the benefit of every living being. When people are not following the instructions and advices given by our ancient Siddhas and sages, they may not listen to what I am saying. Then why I should continue to give discourses? I am continuing my discourses in the belief that out of the thousands of people listening to my discourses, at least one sincere disciple may take it up and practice all the instructions and realize God. There are times that when country is dried up due to monsoon failure, the rain will pour if there is one good person living there. Avayar grandma emphasized the above point in her compositions. Just because of one good person, the whole country is benefited. Similarly, Raja Yogam must be practiced in solitude and Bhakti can be carried out in a gathering. In Bhakti there is Ajnanam and Mainyanam. In Raja Yogam also both are there. What is the difference between Ajnanam and Mainyanam? Believing that there are thousands of gods and praying to all of them is Ajnanam. Mainyanam clearly states that there is only one God and based on the imagination of individuals, they differ in the name of that one God. Similarly, some people following Raja Yogam also exhibit Ajnanam because they think that they don't know what they are doing and simply say that they are doing something and finally their life may not be fulfilled with God realization. However, some others are committed to the disciplined practice of Raja Yogam and say that they will end up in realizing God come what may. Our destined to realize God is Mainyanam. The main obstacle in both is our mind only. There are many successful saints in the path of Bhakti like Appar, Tirunjana Sambandar, Manikavasagar and Sundarar. These are all saints in the path of Bhakti. Then why it is not coming for thousands of people who are in the path of Bhakti? Main reason is that they lived as a human being but had completely refined their mind. They were living with their Atma and not with their mind. They did not accumulate any property, family and children. They are not attached to anything in this world, whereas normal people have attachment to all this and continue to maintain the path of Bhakti, cannot refine their mind. When one continues to live with their mind, they will not attain Jnanam. Only when the mind leaves all the attachment and merges itself in Atma, one attains the Jnanam. Similarly, in the path of Raja Yogam, the regular practice is only for releasing the mind from all attachments and refines it. Once the mind becomes refined and calm, without any attachments, then God appears before them. People are refusing to calm their mind. Most of the disciples practice Raja Yogam for half an hour only and are unable to continue further because they have to go for their job. If your job is important for you, then how can you realize God? After entangling yourself with this worldly life, where is the time for you for spiritual pursuit? Jnanis during their practice had never kept track of their time. They don't know whether it is day or night, whether they had food or not. This is the state of a Jnani. They also practice Bhakti. In the spiritual tradition of our state, the highly venerated and worshipped till today are 63 saints in the tradition of Saivam and 12 saints in the tradition of Vaishnavam and 18 Siddhas in the tradition of Raja Yogam. However, there were thousands of Siddhas in the tradition of Raja Yogam lived among common people without any fanfare. The 12 saints in the tradition of Vaishnavam are called Arvar. They were immersed in the devotion of Lord Vishnu and composed the magnum opus of 4,000 divine stanzas of high-quality literature. In this tradition, Sri Ramanuja, who lived 1,000 years ago, was completely immersed his mind in bhakti on Lord Vishnu. He left his wife and renounced family life to follow the devotion of Lord Vishnu. Such a great jnani that he wanted to eat food from the leaf of the leftover food eaten by his guru, who's from a lower caste during the height of caste-based division of the society. Generally, we don't invite wanderers in need of food to come and sit down in our house and serve food if they belong to different religion or caste. As long as we maintain this kind of difference, one cannot go close to God. In fact, this will make us to go far away from God. There is no religion or caste with God. Whoever practices religion and caste will never reach God. Whoever say that there are religions and caste will never become a siddhar, jnani or saint. You can be a devotee. The obstacle for all these is our mind only. Only the state of mindlessness will lead us to jnanam. Disciple. What are the pleasures created by bhakti and jnanam? Guru. There are two types of pleasures. First one is sensual pleasure derived by our body from our senses. Second one is the pleasure of the expanded mind. Similarly, there are two types of intellect or knowledge. First one is the intellect of our senses. The second one is the intellect of the expanded mind. Similarly, there are two types of life. Living a life with the worldly desires. Second is living a life without the worldly desires. If you enjoy the bliss, then only you will continue to maintain it. The pleasure will be derived from going to temple and worship in the path of bhakti. You will also enjoy the pleasure when your children get married. Similarly, living with a spouse is also a pleasure. Pleasures will come and go, and it will not continue for a long time, whereas bliss will not come easily. If you attain the state of bliss, it will not leave you. Many people have not reached the state of bliss and are unable to understand it. If you attain bliss and continue to be in that state, then all the other things in this world become unnecessary to you. Many people assume that the pleasure attained by going to temples and worshipping and in other ways derived from this world is the highest pleasure one can derive in this world and believe it as the true bliss. They are unable to understand it because they have not reached the state of bliss. Only jnanis have attained the permanent state of bliss. It will happen only when you start living with your Atma and not with your mind. People who live with their mind will undergo pleasures and sufferings alternatively. Normal people lead a life in pleasure, not in bliss. That is the reason people don't get the bliss. Disciple. How Tirunjana Sambandar became jnani at an early age. Is it possible for everyone? Guru. Tirunjana Sambandar Swamigal, a Saivite saint of Tamil Nadu, became jnani at an early age of 8. It happened because in previous birth, he died just before realizing God. The continuation of the process of God realization into his next birth led him to the realization of God at an early age. He was given the divine milk of wisdom from the goddess Parashakti. The divine milk of wisdom does not exist outside our body. It is within us. We have to make the divine milk of wisdom using Raja Yogic practice. It is in our head. After consuming that milk of wisdom, the person will not feel thirst, hunger, sleep day and night. Other name for that milk of wisdom is elixir called Amardam or fountain of youth. Tirunjana Sambandar at his early age was capable of producing that milk of wisdom. Once Tirunjana Sambandar Swamigal travelled in his palanquin to meet with Appar Swamigal, a contemporary Saivite saint also called Thirunavukarasar. After reaching the destination, Tirunjana Sambandar Swamigal informed the palanquin bearers that he is interested to meet with Appar Swamigal. Immediately, he got a reply from one of the palanquin bearers that I am here as one of the bearers. Immediately, Tirunjana Sambandar Swamigal got down from the palanquin and inquired Appar Swamigal, that act of bearing my palanquin is improper because you're 80 years old, whereas I am very young. Appar Swamigal replied that my ability is no less than your ability even though I am 80 years old. Therefore, it is proper only. From then onwards, both of them started walking. Appar Swamigal opened the door of the Lord Shiva temple at Tirukkattupalli in Tamil Nadu by composing many stanzas in the praise of the Lord. However, Tirunjana Sambandar Swamigal closed the door with just one stanza. They don't become wise in a single birth. It is a continuous effort of many births to realize God. An example for this is Arul Prakasha Ramalinga Vallalar. He had informed his disciples and followers that he is planning to end his life in the human form. His disciples were worried and begged him not to abandon them. Vallalar replied that he had attained the stage through many births and advised his disciples also to try in the same way. Ancient Siddhar Pattinattar also confirmed the same in his compositions that he had taken many births and died many times. Hence it proves that we are continuation of our previous births through the words of the saints. Our life energy does not have memories. Our body functions as long as we live, and the life energy leaves the body at the end of our life without informing anything. If we have to take birth as human being again, then we have to cultivate that thought during our lifetime. What is that thought? We have to make our life to remember that you are me and I am you. When we are hale and hearty, we have to cultivate the thought that both of us jointly have to meet our father and mother. Our life leaves the body at the time of our death with that memory to help us to take birth as human being again. Life understands that it can realize its thought through human body. The life without this memory can take birth as anything. Hence, one has to learn and practice the Raja Yogam. Also, those who learn and practice Yogam may not become Siddhas. To become a Siddha or a saint, one must cleanse themselves the effect of all their past deeds called karmam. To control the life called the breath, one must practice Yogam till the end of their life. Only through this process, one can burn their effects of past deeds or karmam. Simultaneously, life of the practitioner will move towards its end. The life cannot be destroyed and can only merge with its original source, that is the effulgent divine light. It has come from there. It will be merged by taking it there only. Life will transform itself into many forms till its end. The death encountered in day-to-day life on earth by us is not the real death. All these deaths happen only for the body and not for the life. There is no age for the life. It's only for the body. The real death happens only when the life merges with the effulgent divine light form of God. Disciple, what is the glory of the jnanis or saints? How will the jnanis or saints be? Guru, jnanis or saints usually live without any luxuries of the life. One who lives a luxurious life for the sake of the world is an ignorant person or anyani. In recent times, the old Sankaracharya Swami of Kanchipuram in Tamil Nadu is a jnani. He used to walk wherever he went by, wearing only a simple piece of cloth. Ramana Maharishi, who lived in Tiruvannamalai, used to wear only the loin cloth and a towel over his shoulders when he goes out. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, the Gurunather of Swami Vivekananda, also lived like them. These people are the real jnanis or saints. Only half-baked ones boast of themselves as great saints. When the body itself is not required for God, what is the use of costumes and luxuries? The bundle of hair tied on top of the head and beard is for identification only. Jnanis don't like grandeur and luxuries. They live only for God and they don't desire anything else in this world. Those who are the slaves of this world need every luxury and comfort. If a jnani happens to witness people suffering on the way, a jnani will not stop and comfort them. It is humanity to help suffering people. However, a jnani will not interfere in the fate of that person. The person is suffering to clear his fate of his past deeds. Hence, a jnani will not interfere in clearing one's bad deeds. This is the path of jnanam. Jnanis will not take responsibility for any activity happening in this world. The activities happening in this world will not affect jnanis. Their heart and soul are always focused on maintaining the relationship with God only. The spiritual path taken by the jnanis are very hard and difficult one. One has to continue in the spiritual path through their body, mind and spirit. This is real jnanam. Only these people are called jnanis. For example, Arul Prakasha Ramalinga Vallalar is a great jnani with compassion. He suffered by seeing the withering of crops without water and hungry people. To alleviate the hunger, he had established a feeding center to feed people affected by the famine. This practice is being continued by his followers till today. However, when his disciple was suffering due to disease, Vallalar told him that he can cure his disease. However, the disciple must take another birth to clear his karmam of the previous birth. The disciple told him that he is ready to continue to suffer the disease now and clear the karmam in this birth itself rather than taking another birth. This is the reason that jnanis don't interfere in the sufferings of the people. There are many Samaritans who help the people by performing various good deeds. These people are called good people, but not as jnanis. Jnanis must preach the principles of spirituality during their lifetime itself. However, it is up to the people to take it or not. Those who don't preach the good things to people are called anyani. Disciple, what is the difference between wandering monk, a samyar, a renunciate or a sannyasi, yogi and jnani? Guru, a wandering monk, samyar, is a wanderer who is still searching for God without knowing it. These people are unable to locate the place where to place their inquiries about God. They cannot realize God. A renunciate or a sannyasi does not have any attachments and longing for God. Not interested in family life. They will go wherever they find food. However, they will be roaming around wearing all the paraphernalia of a saintly person like saffron robe, long hair and a chain of prayer beads. Sami, God or a venerated person, is a person who is highly respected and most of the times refers to God. Sometimes even a child can be called Sami because God is functioning within the child also. Generally, old people are called Sami to show respect to their age and the existence of God in them. Yogi is a person who accepts the existence and has the knowledge of God. Yogi is focused on the spiritual path of realizing the God and will continuously try to attain it. Jnani, the wise one, is a yogi who has attained jnanam or wisdom by realizing God. Disciple, what is renunciation? Is it leaving whatever one has or accepting whatever comes to you? Guru, renunciation is not leaving your family and home. Renunciation is not running away from home to a faraway place. It is not about becoming monk or a wandering monk. Renunciation is getting rid of the desires attached to your mind. Renunciation is not running away from duties due to fear of failure. You cannot leave everything what you have and accept anything which comes to you. Your mind will be ready to accept the pleasures which come to you, but it will not be ready to accept the attached sufferings. Your mind will accept only if it feels it is right for it. Disciple, what is pranavam, am? Guru, we notice that people entering a temple always chant some mantram. When they enter the temple of Lord Shiva, they murmur Am Namah Shivaya. Let us discuss the meaning of Am Namah Shivaya. Am represents our life. Na represents the earth. Ma represents the water. Si represents fire. Va represents air. Ya represents the space. Similarly, people also chant Am Shakti, Am Muruga, Am Namo Narayana. In essence, Am is the prefix for any mantram. Without Am, the mantram will lose its meaning and the power. Mantram will be a simple word without its life. Usually it is said that Am is a single syllable mantram. Am contains A, U and Ma. It is the combination of Shakti, Shivam and Vishnu. These three are important for our body to function. Shakti resides in our Mooladharam in the form of fire or physical window. Mahavishnu resides in our stomach in the form of water. Shiva resides in the top of our head in the form of the eternal melody called Nadam or Sukshma Vindu. The combination of these three directs our body to function. It is the explanation for the mantram Am. Disciple, what is the meaning of Jivan, Atma, life, physical Vindu, Sukshma Vindu, body and feelings? Guru, Jivan resides in physical Vindu or sperm for male and female gametes. Jivan resides in physical Vindu or sperm for male and female gametes for the females. Atma resides in the Nadam, the divine melody, and is also called Sukshma Vindu. Life is our breath. These three are called Muppurul, the Trinity. During the death process of a common man, the Jivan, the physical Vindu in the form of fire, the life, the breath, and Atma, the Nadam, the divine melody also called Sukshma Vindu, these three things or Muppurul Trinity combine into one and will leave the body at the time of death as one object. Earth, water, fire, air and space are the 5 basic elements. Life is formed using these 5 elements. These 5 elements are present in female gametes called ova or suranidam and male gametes called sperm or vindu. Even if a husband and wife have copulation for hundreds of times, wife cannot conceive only with the physical vindu or sperm. Out of these 100 times, only once the Sukshma Vindu will come down from the head of the husband and forms a bubble with the physical Vindu, similar to the bubble forms during the rain. Water bubble wraps up the air inside and travels in half spherical shape. Similarly, the Sukshma Vindu will wrap up the physical Vindu and drops into the female organ during the ejaculation. 10 types of gases or dasavayu are generated when male and female gametes join and forms human embryo, leading to the generation of human beings. When these gases join with the breathing of the mother, the physical body of the baby develops. This baby is delivered with the umbilical cord of the mother. When this umbilical cord is separated from the mother, the baby is just a motionless physical body called pindam. When this stillborn baby is shaken, it opens its mouth. Through the open mouth, life enters through breathing, combined with the cosmic life in the form of pranavam, the divine melody Am, enter the body. Pranavam is composed of A, U and M. These 3 parts of the pranavam separates after entering the body and locates itself in 3 parts of the body. A attaches itself to the hip area. U attaches itself to the top of the head and M attaches itself to the navel point. The functioning of these 3 points directs all the human body activities. These are also called Nadam, the divine melody Am, as Sukshma Vindu, as waves of sound, and physical Vindu, as waves of light. There may be 4 children born out of the same father and mother. Only the Atma, which had accumulated good karma in the previous births, will lead a comfortable life compared to the other siblings. The mother may be the same, but each child will have its own different life. There may be common physiological similarities between the siblings, but each will have its own character. Vindu goes down due to heat generated during male-female copulation, and the same Vindu goes up through the Sukshma Nadi, the central energy flow channel, in the spine to the top of the head in the heat generated during Raja Yogam breathing practice. Kandavar viduvadillai, the one who is seeing cannot speak. Vindavar kandadillai, one who is speaking it is not seeing it. We cannot speak when we were Sukshma Bindu because we were in isolation. We can speak when we are physical Bindu because we are in a group up. This is the reason for sages to make the above statement. One cannot see God from here. Only if the world and its surroundings disappear, then one can see God. You can see God only when this world disappears in your eyes. At the same moment, you can see God. The moment God disappears from your eyesight, then the world and its surroundings will appear to you. This is life. During the delivery of a child, it will not look at the mother or father. It just looks at the earth. Only afterwards, it will start looking at others. Why the child is looking at the earth when it is taking birth? It is because it is going to end its life there only. All the activities which we carry out in our young age, we cannot continue to do it at our old age when our body lost its strength. Our own family will oppose many activities one contemplates to do in the old age. Because of this, all the old people lose interest to continue to live and contemplate on how to end life. It happens because we lost the strength, we lost wealth, we lost respect, and children start their domination along with the domination of the spouse. In such a situation, we become frustrated. However, for the masters of the Raja Yogam, they will be ready to lose everything in the world except the thought of God. They are confident that the God is there for them. This is Jnanam. By the practice of Raja Yogam, one may not join with God. One may not become Jnani. Your desire may not leave you to become a saint. However, you will build mental strength. It is not easy to become a Jnani. Even I have not become one. If I am a Jnani, then there is no necessity for me to give discourses. There is no need for ashramam. Just because we had built our ashramam, I will not call myself a saint or a Jnani. One can tell lies in the affairs of the world. One should not tell lies in spirituality. One will accumulate sins more than the sins in this world if a spiritual person tells lies. Our body functions because there is life in it. If the life goes out of the body, then the body will drop down. It cannot stand by itself. If you make 100-gram weighing stick to stand, it will not stand on its own. Human being with a weight of 50 kg is standing. What is that is making human beings to stand?